Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV, Uranium Update and interesting companies. The uranium games have begun. Bull market until 2040? We think for sure. SRC, Swiss Users Capital AG, works on behalf of and paid for Uranium Energy, IsoEnergy, Uranium Royalty, and Premier American Uranium. So, that was our disclaimer here. And ladies and gentlemen, uranium is hot, uranium shines bright. And interesting is really the global energy mix in 2024, because 86% still fossil fuels like oil, gas, coal, etc. Nuclear energy accounts only for just 5% by now, with a strong upward trend over the next 15 plus years. The renewable energies and hydropower account for just 9%. What is the conclusion? Very simple. Nuclear energy will continue to catch up massively, paired with renewable energies, and that makes really sense to me. Global energy demand rose again by 2% to an all-time high of 592 exajoules in 2024. The non-fossil fuels grew by 7% year-on-year, bringing their share of the energy mix to around 13.5%. The energy demand continues to rise steadily. According to the World Nuclear Association, which has their meeting from the 2nd to the 5th September, meaning this week in London, 70 nuclear reactors are under construction and 100 nuclear power plants are planned to come online in the next 15 years, plus 300 more in extended planning. And we are not talking yet about small modular reactors. In 2025 alone, 11 nuclear power plants will go into operation in India, China and Bangladesh, with another 12 in 2026, according to the website of the World Nuclear Association. That means positive growth path for nuclear fuel, meaning U3O8. Clean technologies continue to grow, but traditionals like fossil fuels remain the backbone of the global energy system. The Asia-Pacific region is driving demand, with 68% growth in demand over the last years. Let's have a look. I think this graph really shows fantastic. That's from the US Census Bureau. Data centers versus the office construction in the US, they are almost at the same level in June 2025. What tells us this? The power demand will grow rapidly, because all those data centers need a lot of power. And so, since 2015, the construction investments are tenfold higher now. So, you need it. The uranium price bottomed out in spring 2025 at around $65 per pound. Since then, the price has risen to $80 and now stands at just under $75, around $76. The spot price of uranium is entirely discretionary and is determined not by fundamental data but by financial speculators and not by end consumers. This means that the real supply and demand conditions are not accurately reflected in the spot price, especially the real dynamics, which we think will come up very soon here. Trading volume is rather small. The futures contracts are the backbone of the market here. Nuclear power plants operate for 60 plus years or more and need security of supply. However, at $80 per pound, to be honest, it makes absolutely no sense, because all new mines cannot exist with $80 per pound, and so nothing is being developed so far. India announced plans to increase the nuclear power capacity 13-fold by 2047. The data center company Equinix is signing deals with nuclear power producers to supply its global data centers with electricity, fully in line with Microsoft, as the expansion requires an enormous amount of power. Alphabet and Meta also use nuclear power to supply their data centers with electricity. The trend is your friend, ladies and gentlemen. Top uranium producer Kazatomprom from Kazakhstan announced that it will only achieve its mid-range production forecast by 14 million pounds, which is just under 20% below its target. Orano could even close its mine in Niger, due to fears of local export restrictions, which could even lead to the bankruptcy of the Sommer mining joint venture. The mine accounts for around 5% of global production. Cameco has problems with the McArthur River production expansions because that is delayed. The production is weaker this year and next year. Endless demand for electricity from AI and data centers, as well as the continued decarbonization of electricity generation and energy supply security, are great drivers for the price of uranium and nuclear power. What is the conclusion? Very simple. Uranium supply is becoming increasingly tight. The market is in a deficit and stays in a deficit, while the consumption continues to rise. The bull market has begun. We are in between. Let's have a look on our top company and top favorite, Uranium Energy Corp. Now the target price is at $14.5. We always said the price will go to $10.50, which was now realized. So everything fine. IsoEnergy also very interesting, working on a breakout here on a real buy signal. Everything above $11.50, $12 is a heavy buy signal. So $12 is the next target, but then this creates already a price target of 18.5 Canadian dollars. Great company. Premier American Uranium, also interesting, a newer company. So this is the reason why we have no point and figure chart. But if I look at this here, the company is in the making of doing or producing a buy signal. And when that happens, then we think the price target of $1.90 to $2.20 is realistic. Uranium Royalty, the one and only royalty company in the uranium sector. We see the buy signal here imminent at $4.75, which should be reached maybe this week already. And then the price target is 10.5 Canadian dollars. So that looks also fantastic. Energy Fuels, perfect chart, great company, super upward trend, and the price target is 24 Canadian dollars. And if the company continues to perform this well, 30 to 40 Canadian dollars, I think, are absolutely possible in the longer term, meaning next 2, 3, 4 years. URA, the Global X Uranium Miner Fund, to me, one of the best funds here in the sector. I own it also personally, of course. Price target is $79 to $82, and the next one is $100 plus. So that looks all good. A lot of money can be made here in the sector, but you need a little bit patience, to be honest, because it was like in the years 2004 to 2007. It took a while, and then all of a sudden uranium exploded and things were moving. But this time, we have a deficit now since years. The deficit will stay the next 10 years, absolutely. And we do not get really large mines in production. Maybe by 2032, 2035, there will be something like a next gen, whatever, that might be possible, but it takes time, ladies and gentlemen, and the deficit is growing and growing and growing, and the demand is growing. So you are in the right sector. I have tried to do a uranium price forecast, and I'm using the Sprott physical uranium trust chart because I could not get a uranium price chart with the pointed figures. So I take this one, and this is calculated 1 to 4 is the ratio here. Uranium spot price to the trust. I know the trust is with a discount, everything. I've tried to figure out how I can calculate it, but I think 1 to 4 is quite realistic, and my price target for the trust is $40, meaning $160 spot price, time horizon for the next 2 to 3 years. Yeah. From that side, I wish you well. Uranium is hot and the bull market has started. Make sure you make some money. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for your attention. Bye-bye from Switzerland.